Hello,
Yes,
Rizwan.
sir. Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. So let me change. Yes. So let me change the color of the board. At last. So in the previous class, what we did? Uh, Firstly, what we did. Firstly, we learned about the type of polynomials. Okay. And what were the type of polynomials?
Monomial, binomial, trinomial.
Yes, yes. Very good. Monomial, binomial, and trinomial and others. And then we did what? Two special cases of polynomial we did. But before that, we did what? Degrees of the polynomial.
Degree.
Yes, degrees of the polynomial. And what it was?
Highest power.
Yes, highest power. So can I ask you something? You are in the CBSE course or you are in the foundation course?
CBSE, sir.
CBSE. Okay. So the highest power on the variable. Okay. And then we did two special cases of polynomial. One was the quadratic polynomial. Sidebar. Oh, sorry. So one we did was quadratic polynomial, and the other one was what?
Fractional power.
No. Other one was cubic polynomial.
Cubic power polynomial.
Yes. The fraction was here. That one was that polynomial cannot be fraction, and the other one.
And polynomial cannot be negative.
Yes, very right.
Negative
So
power.
Yes. Right. Can't have negative power. So you have been through the revision, na? So you remember everything.
Yes, sir.
So quadratic polynomial and the cubic polynomial. Quadratic polynomial had what degree?
Degree 2.
2, and cubic had degree 3.
3.
Yes. And what was the general form of quadratic polynomial? General form of a quadratic polynomial.
Ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0.
So that was, if we write equals to 0, that means that is a quadratic what? Equation. But the quadratic polynomial will be what? Ax squared plus bx plus c. So this is a quadratic polynomial. And the cubic polynomial was
Ax cube plus bx square plus cx plus d.
Right. Nice. So px was ax cube plus bx square plus cx plus t. And then we studied about the zeros of the polynomial. So let's say for some cases of, for some values of x, let's say for some values of k, the polynomial was 0. Then k was one of the zeros of the polynomial, right?
Yes, sir.
Similarly, what we did was the graphical solution of the zeros of the polynomial. And what were the number of the zeros? The number of zeros were equal to what?
Power of the polynomial.
Yes,
Degree of the
degree.
polynomial.
Yes, extremely right. Yes, degree of the polynomial. So for a quadratic polynomial, what will be the number of the zeros?
3.
Quadratic.
2.
Yes, right. 2. So for a quadratic polynomial, number of zeros are 2. Let's say we name them alpha and beta. Okay. And for a cubic polynomial, what will be the number of the zeros?
3.
Yes. For cubic, there will be alpha, beta, gamma.
Gamma.
Yes. So these are the zeros of a cubic polynomial. Okay. And lastly, what we did was,
Graph.
yes. So you have gone through the revision very carefully. You exactly remember the topics that I taught you in the previous class. Nice.
Yes, sir.
Very nice. So lastly, what we did was the graphical solution. So in graphical solution, what was the key idea? Is that if you have a graph, let's say y, which is a function of x, and this is the graph. So graphical solution of the zeros was that at what numbers the graph cuts the x-axis, that point, those points are the zeros. Yes. So how many zeros are there for this graph?
5 zeros.
1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, 5 zeros. So this was about the graphical solution of the number of zeros. Okay. And the next topic that I'm going to teach today is the relation between the coefficients of the polynomial and the zeros of the polynomial. Okay. So
Yes, sir.
yeah, you already know about the coefficients of the polynomial. For a quadratic polynomial, these are the coefficients
Yes.
A, B, and C. These are the coefficients. Okay. And for a cubic polynomial, these
A, B,
are,
C, D.
yes. So these are the coefficients. And one critical point about the quadratic polynomial is that this A can't be 0. Why so?
If it multiplies with x, the value will get 0.
Yes. So you will not have a power 2 or degree 2. So that will not be a quadratic polynomial. So for a quadratic polynomial, a could not be or must not be 0. Okay. Similarly, here for cubic polynomial, a can't be 0. But a, b, c are real numbers.
Coefficients.
Huh? A, B, C are real numbers. You know about the real numbers, huh?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So they are whole numbers, they are natural numbers, they are integers, and they are fractional numbers. And when you combine all those numbers, then you have a real number. Okay. So you know about the coefficient. So let's start with the next topic. So next topic is relation between zeros and the coefficient of polynomials. So let's first do about the quadratic polynomial. Quadratic polynomial. Okay, or rather equation. Okay, so what is the general form of the quadratic equation? This is a quadratic equation, right? And we can write a general form of the quadratic equation by means of another means, and that is when you know the sum of the zeros. So what are the zeros for this quadratic equation? What were the zeros? Yes. Alpha and beta were the zeros, huh?
It's alpha and beta.
Yes. So if you know the sum of the zeros, sum of the zeros, okay, which is what? Alpha plus beta. Okay, you know about the sum of the zeros. And what is the product of the zeros? It is alpha into beta. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So you can write any quadratic equation in the form of sum of the zeros and product of the zeros. And that will be x square minus alpha plus beta x plus alpha into beta equals to 0. Understood?
Yes, sir.
So either you can write in the form of the coefficients of these polynomials, or you can write with the help of the sum of the zeros and the product of the zeros. Okay. So this is the general form. Okay. So this is the general form in case of the zeros of the polynomial. Okay. Understood?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So let me derive one thing. And we are going to derive the relation between the sum of the zeros and the product of the zeros. Okay. So what is the general form of a quadratic equation in the coefficient form? This is ax square plus bx plus c equals to 0. Okay. One moment, please. Sorry for the interruption. Sorry. So where were you? So this is the general form of a quadratic equation, okay? And if you want to compare this with this, okay? So what is the coefficient here?
A,
Here, the coefficient of x square.
1.
1, right. Yes, 1. So if I want to keep the coefficient of this as 1, what should I do? I should divide this equation by a. Okay, the whole equation. Is that
okay, sir?
Is that okay?
Okay, sir.
So this is ax square by a, and this is bx by a, and this is c by a. Okay, understood?
Yes, sir.
So this is 1, and now we can compare. Okay, understood?
Okay, sir.
So this is b by a and this is c by a. Okay, so let me compare it. Let me write here. So let me write these sums. So x square minus alpha plus beta x and plus alpha into beta equals to 0. So when you compare these equations, let me write it more clearly. X square plus b by a x plus c by a equals to 0. So when you compare this equation and this equation, what can you infer about these coefficient and these coefficient? So these are equal. Okay. Understood?
No, sir.
No. So just compare these and this equation and this equation. So here these are equal, no? These are both the quadratic equation.
Yes, yes.
This is in the coefficient form and this is in the roots form, zeros form.
Okay.
So when you compare the coefficients here, okay, so the coefficient of x is what? Let me compare the, let me write. So let's say this is 1 and this is 2. Okay, so comparing equation 1 and equation 2. So let's say the coefficient of x is what in equation 1? Coefficient of x in equation 1 is what? B by a?
B by a.
Yes, B by a. And what is coefficient of x in equation 2?
Alpha plus beta.
Yes, minus of alpha plus beta.
Yes.
Understood?
Yes.
And both these equations are equal, so coefficient should be equal, na?
Yes.
So your alpha, so minus of alpha plus beta will be what? B by a. Okay.
Yes.
So alpha plus beta will be minus b by a. Understood?
Yes, sir.
So this is the first relation. Okay, understood up to this point. Any question?
No, sir.
Okay. And the second thing is that what? The constant term. So the constant term,
C by
yes,
A.
yes. The constant term is C by A, and in here this is what? In second equation, this is alpha into
Alpha
beta.
into beta.
Yes, right. So alpha into beta is C by A. So you have proven the relation between, this is the second relation. Okay. So you have proven two relation between zeros of the polynomial and the coefficients of the polynomial. Okay. So first relation is what? First relation is that sum of the zeros is what? Minus b by a. Okay. And second is what? Product of the zeros is what?
C by A.
C by a. Okay. So
Yes, sir.
this is alpha plus beta, and this is alpha into beta. So these are two relation for a quadratic equation. And similarly, when you solve what? When you solve the cubic for a cubic equation. This is not in your syllabus, but we will do it. Okay.
Okay, sir.
For a cubic equation, the sum of the zeros, alpha plus beta plus gamma, will be what? Again, minus b by a. Okay.
Okay, sir.
But there are two things more here. One is that you have product of simultaneous sum of the product of two zeros, alpha beta plus beta gamma, and what is rest?
Beta gamma.
Beta gamma is there. So alpha
Alpha
yes,
gamma.
yes, alpha gamma, and this is C by A. Okay. And third one is what? Alpha product of the roots. This is T by A minus T by A. Okay. So alternate signs. Negative, positive, and negative. Alternate signs. And if you want to prove this equation, you will have to what? Do these things. You have to take this equation, solve this equation, and compare it with what? What is the general form of the cubic equation? This is ax cube plus bx square plus cx plus t. Similarly, what we did with the quadratic equation. Okay. So,
Okay, sir.
so when you solve this equation, you will get these kind of relation as the coefficient, and when you compare it with this equation, you will get the values of these relations. Understood?
Yes, sir.
So this was about the relation between the coefficients and the zeros of the polynomial. And the next topic is the division algorithm of polynomials. So when you divide, let's say 2 with 5, So this is called what? This is divisor. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
And this is what?
Dividend.
Dividend. Yes. So this is dividend. And you have what? This is some, let's say 2 and 4, 1. So this is what? This is quotient.
Quotient.
And this is what?
Remainder.
Yes, remainder. So similarly, this division algorithm of polynomial have same pattern, have same relation. Okay, so you have Px, which is the dividend. Okay, and you have Qx, which is the quotient. You have Rx, which is the remainder. And what is, let's say you have Hi Vanisha, you were disconnected at some point. Hello. Hi Vanisha, you were disconnected at some point. Hello. Is your mic working? Hi Vanisha. Hello. Am I audible to you? Hello. So her might be not working. Okay. So let's say this is mx. Okay. So this is what? Divisor. Actually, what is, so what will be the px? This will be mx into qx plus rx. Okay. Understood?
Okay.
Similarly, like you have dividend, which is equal to divisor into quotient plus remainder. Understood?
Yes, sir.
So let's say if this is a px, let's say x square minus 3x and 1 minus 3, that will be minus 2, so plus 2. Okay. So let's say I say that P1 is 0, which means what? Which means what? So this is a 0 of this Px, na?
Yes, sir.
Polynomial Px. So if I put 1 here, what will be the Px value? Hi Varisha, is your net is fluctuating or what? Hello? I don't know what is happening with Varisha. Yes, so if I put the value of 1, what will be the Px? Let's put 1 here. 1 square minus 3 into 1 plus 2.
1 square. Yes, sir.
Yes, so what this will be? This will be 1 minus 3 plus 2. So this is 3 minus 3, this is 0. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So P1 is one of the zeros of this polynomial. Understood? So
Okay, sir.
if x equals to 1, if x equals to 1 is the polynomial, is the solution or one of the zeros of this polynomial, okay, this polynomial, then x minus 1 is a factor of this polynomial, of the polynomial px. Understood this part?
Yes, sir.
What do I mean by the factor of the px? It means that if I divide x minus 1 with px, the remainder rx will be what? 0. Understood?
Yes, sir.
So let's divide. Let's divide x minus 1, x minus 1 divided by, what was that? The px, x square minus 3x plus 2. Okay. So what we do is that first we try to equate with x square. We exactly find that number which gives x square. So what will we multiply with x? That will give x square.
X.
X. So x will be the factor. So when we multiply x with x, that will be x square, and this is minus x. So firstly, we negate the higher order terms, higher power terms, okay, in the solution or in the division of this polynomial. So this is minus, this is plus, so this will be what? This cancels out. And this is what? Minus 2x plus 2. So what should we multiply with x to get minus 2x? Rizwan?
2 minus 2.
Yes, minus 2. Right. Minus 2. So when we multiply it by minus 2, this will be what? Minus 2x. And this will be what? 2. Okay. So this has same sign. When we change the sign, this will be what? Minus 2x plus 2x, that is 0. 2 minus 2, that is 0. So we are 0. We have 0. We are not 0. We have 0. Okay.
Yes.
So the remainder is what? 0. So if x minus 1 is a factor of this px, that means what? The remainder is 0. This is, I mean by when I say that x minus 1 is a factor of the px. Okay. So you can find another solution of another 0 by dividing this px with this factor. So you get x minus 2. Okay. When you divide x minus 1 with x cube minus 3x plus 2, then you get another factor which is x minus 2. Okay. And when your remainder is 0, that means that
It is a factor.
yes. So x minus 2 is another factor. How many factor will be there if you have 2 degree of polynomial?
2 factors.
2 factors. Yes, 2 factors. So one factor is 1 and another factor is 2. 2 factors. So this is like x minus alpha, x minus beta. So when you multiply this, you will get what? You will get the actual polynomial. Okay. So this is called the factorization of the polynomial. Understood? Understood up to this point?
Yes, sir.
So if you have the zeros like x equals to alpha and x equals to beta, and these are the zeros. So what will be the quadratic equation? x minus alpha and x minus beta equals to 0. So this will be the quadratic equation. Na? How many people are
Yes.
joining? Understood?
Yes.
So this is all about the polynomials, and now we will do so many questions. So let me start from the first question. I'll first do the NCERT one, and then I'll do the RD one. Okay. So this is the first question. Let's say change the color. So how many zeros are there for this first question?
No zeros.
No zeros. Yes, no zeros. So no. Okay. And black. So no zeros. And who has joined? Let me see. So Vanisha and Imran. Okay. How many zeros for this second questions? How many zeros are there for this graph, for this equation, for this polynomial? Vanisha, can you tell me? Vanisha is not listening. So
Sir, I'm here for an accounts class.
electronic classes. Oh, sorry. So when is your
Accounts class, sir.
which class?
Accountancy.
Accountancy. And when it will
Yes,
happen?
Sir, 5:45 with Imran, sir.
Acha. So I am with. Okay.